Hello guys, and today we are going to see the long format YouTube automation masterclass. What is this masterclass about? This is a masterclass about how to find a niche, where to start, how to start, okay? What you must understand about YouTube, okay? So this is a basis so you can create whatever channel you want on automation. This is where you understand how money comes in, AdSense, and other formats of monetization. And after you understand about YouTube, you understand how to create the videos on autopilot. Yesterday, our upload queue hit captchas. Two accounts got unusual activity and research ground to a halt. Swapping to flop data fixed that in minutes. You can use stick residential for each channel, making your YouTube studio sessions more stable. You can also use their rotation pools for scrapping ideas at scale. That way, you get fewer blocks. You can also use city targeting. Why is that important? That way, you can see the same homepage your client is seeing. This will help you understand what people want to watch and what they actually see. If you want to do that in a faster way, you can always use their data center service. And you can always use the team maps proxies per Go login profile, making that no cross-contamination between your YouTube accounts. And that's really important when you are doing an YouTube automation. And it's really cheap. It's from 60 cents to run on data centers and $1 per gigabyte if you run on residential or mobile. So let's understand how things work, alright? So first step, you need to find a niche, okay? So how to find a niche? You need to see if it's available. So what do I mean about saying that it's available? When you are creating an automation for YouTube, you are not really going to have the best video, the best possible thing, but you are going to have the longest one, because we are working here with long format videos. So you're going to have the longest format for that niche. So you need to understand that niches that are already being used, for example, the boring history for sleep that the sleepless historian has, is already being used, and he has the medieval fantasy by his side. So you need to understand the niche. So let's break down the niche here. As you can see, I recommend using popular fantasies. What do I mean about that? You'll see in a moment, okay? And the last thing you need to understand, you must understand who's watching. So who's watching is a thing you get with the time, but mostly of the people that is going to watch these long format videos to sleep are usually boomers, okay? So what do I mean by that? It's people that has a certain kind of mind, the way they think, okay? By understanding who's watching, you understand what title you can do and what kind of thumbnail you need to create. If you're doing for boomers that are conservatives, you can't really put a gay couple on the thumbnail, so you need to understand what they want and what they would like to watch, okay? Usually it's boomers, but as I said, I'm recommending you to use fantasies. What does that mean? This means you can drive through some contents that young people might like to watch, might like to listen to sleep, okay? So you remember to check if it's available, okay? It's a very important step. So how do you check if it's available? You search for it, you search about it, you search using terms like for sleep, because it's really long videos. So let's see this sleepless historian example here. So as I wrote here, it's already saturated niche, and he has medieval fantasy by his side. What does that mean? As we can see here, medieval rules we still follow for no reason. So we have some things that he uses about medieval, about Venice, about back in the days, about past that's lasting longer until today. So he's creating titles for his audience, okay? He understands his audience. So as I told here, I recommend using popular fantasies for that. And why is that? Because I saw recently an example. This channel here is in Portuguese, okay? And what does that channel means, okay? It is not as big as the Sleepless Historian because it's really new, okay? and it got quickly got traction using popular worlds. What do I mean worlds? So he's using here the Batman world, the Lord of the Rings, Anunnaki things, and Gotham again, so Batman. Okay, so what do we have here? We have him using things that people already know to create videos. So that's my recommendation. You want to create an automation YouTube channel, you need to understand what niche you want. Okay, in my opinion, you should look for popular stuff. Okay, so maybe rock culture, more pop culture, some culturistic thing, or historic things. But I do not recommend using stoicism. Why not? Because it has already too much. Okay, it's already too much. So you need to create something different. Maybe using the Bible, maybe using video games, maybe using something brand new. I will not recommend stoicism. Okay, because as the sleepless historian using medieval, it's already being used and it's already too much videos about it. So you need to create something new. You need to create something different. Okay, and why is that important to understand that you really want this long format 1 hour and 50 minutes long videos or 3 hours long videos? Why do we want that? Because really long videos have higher CPM. So for example, in Portuguese we get lower CPM because in Portuguese we have Brazil, and Brazil is not really a paying country. As we know, it's not the richest. Okay, so you need to understand that here this person is getting paid 27 reais, so it's about $5. As you can see here, it's about $5 for 1,000 views. In Brazil, it's a lot of money, but if you're doing this in English or Spanish, you can get a little bit higher. Remember, if you're doing in English, you're getting really high payouts. Okay, this would be around, I think, at minimum $10 for 1,000 views, so it's much more. And with 20,000 views, this person got 500 high, so it's $100. Okay, so this is amazing, and that's why I recommend you to create this long format videos, because the monetization works really well. Okay, so this is a really good thing to see. And as you can see here, we have dollar, so and real. So I put here the same number, as you can see, 27, and we got here the amount of dollars it's getting for 1,000 views. Okay, so this is really interesting to see, really interesting to watch. So you can create a new channel using this kind of automation. Okay, this is basically using our automation. Okay, the automation I'm going to show you today. Nice. So the next step is what you must understand about YouTube. So let's see here what you must understand about YouTube. Long format video is really different from TikTok. And why is that? So here I have a comparison of my first touch with YouTube long format and YouTube short format. So for example, TikTok. And as we can see here, the long format videos we have here, both videos, I need to choose between them too. And the short format, I simply have this video already playing. I click on shorts and this is what appeared, and I took a screenshot. So what is the difference here? So there is a big difference between long format and short format videos that you need to understand before creating for long format videos. And why is that? Is that you need to have a thumbnail and a title. It really matters. In a short format video, for example this one, it doesn't has any title, it doesn't has any text, nothing. It's just a video, so it has a different outcome based on the video. So let's understand this. Both of these videos, they have strongly recognizable and understandable thumbnails, just like this guy here. Okay, and as we can see, these thumbnails, they are homemade. They are handmade. Okay, so as you can see, it has a lot of details, a lot of things that you need to see, and you can grasp. Once you take a look, you can grasp what's going on here. Okay, and also it goes beyond the thumbnail. It also has the title. You will never get hit again after learning this. Hank being oblivious to Walt for 26 minutes. So the title here matters more than you think, more you would like to think. Okay, so why is that important to understand that? Because in a short format video you just post and you hope this to go pretty well. In the long format you can manipulate, you can get better, you can understand the thumbnail, understand how it works, and you really need to be in touch with the metrics. That way you can improve your thumbnail, improve your title based on what really works. Okay. All right. So next step, you need to understand it will not be full auto. Okay. It's just that you need to understand it's not full auto. Let's check the example I told you before about the sleepless historian. His videos are automatic. He does not do nothing in the video. The video is already done, it's already working by itself. But the title and the thumbnail, it is really important. As I told you guys, you need to understand this before getting into creating your thing. As you can see, judge this thumbnail. Do you think it's fully AI generated or it has human hand on this? And I'll tell you guys, it has human hand. So you need to put a little bit of effort on the thumbnail. The title is probably AI generated, okay? The title maybe only optimized by a human, but mostly AI generated. But this thumbnail is homemade, it's handmade, but I don't mean everything. So let's see, this kind of person here in this cartoon, it's AI generated, okay? So this step is AI generated, this kind of, this woman, this buildings, everything is AI generated. But this boring history for sleep is not. This is put here by a human. This white, plain white background is put here by a human. This little bit in the edge here is put here by a human. So you need to understand this. As you can see, the text is not even in the same place in both of this, so you need to understand. This white background is a choice by a human. This boring story for sleep is put here by a human, and this thing in the side note here is put by a human, this icon, okay? So you need to understand. The thumbnails are really important, and you need to make them. You can't put this on automatic. You need to put this on your hand and create that. But it's really quick. You can create a thumbnail in about 30 minutes, 15 minutes, or even 5 minutes, okay? So creating a thumbnail is not really the toughest part. It's creating the video, and the video is on autopilot, so it's creating on automatic, okay? And also, after you have a niche, you can ask the AI to create ideas for you, and with ideas you can already create videos, so you get the job done real quick, okay? So once you understand that this thumbnail has human hands involved, you understand you need to do that to have a great channel, okay? And as you can see, here we have human hand too. Here it's telling Sleep in Gotham, history of Anunnakis, and Sleep in Gotham again. And it's every time it's different because it's human made, okay? So once you understand that, you can get it going, okay? So you can't really, it will not be on full auto. That's the sad part, but it's not a lot of job. It's not a lot of work. Once you do the easy part, it's, you know, easy to continue doing it until you start getting money, okay? And the last part, you need to clickbait. So as you can see here, it has this beautiful aesthetic vibe, this girl here drinking wine, this man with 3 women, and maybe he's talking about marriage because it's the rules would still follow and everything. All right, so now that you understand about YouTube, you understand about this, about niches. Remember guys, niches are important, but we are talking about long format automation. The best part is not the best niche, is having a niche that get views. Maybe you already seen people talking about niches that get more payouts. For example, talking about money, talking about how to get rich, you get more money. How to talk when you talk about I don't know, trips around the world, you might get more money. Okay, this is true, but in my opinion, it's more important now that this niche is already being used for a couple of months by other people. This niche for sleep, this niche that really long videos. I recommend creating in a niche that get more views. That way you can get success. Because if you're trying to create about money and you get a higher CPM based on that, you might not get views. So how do you get paid without views? You don't. Okay, so that's why I recommend using popular fantasies instead of really paying CPM niches, because these really paying CPM niches are so competitive, your boring video is not going to perform as well as you want. Okay, is money, AdSense, and beyond. How AdSense works? Okay, so AdSense is the part where you get money from the ads. Okay, how that works? If you have a video that's longer, so it's a big chunky video, 1 hour long, for example, you get higher CPM, you get more AdSense. Why that? Because you get more ads during the video. So you need to understand that. Longer videos have more ads, which means higher CPM. But is that all? No, it's not. AdSense works based on the niche, on what we were talking about. If we were talking about websites, for example, Hostinger, you get bigger payouts because they put ads on video that talk about them. If you were talking about, for example, money, you get higher payouts. Why is that? Because people that have money, that have ways to manage your money, they will put ads on your video. That way they can get paid. You get paid more. Let's see another niche that pays a lot: trips around the world. If you are going to make a trip around the world, you're going to have ads from air companies, from booking companies. So this get higher CPM. So you need to understand all of that, because all of this makes you receive more money. So AdSense works based on niche and how long the video is. Both of these things makes you make more or less money. So you're telling me that creating short format videos get you paid less? Yes. So if you want to get paid for a short format video, you need a lot of views. If you don't, you will not get paid a lot. Okay, so with less views, you get more money based on how long the video is. If the video is longer, you get more money with less views. That's how the math works. Okay, and remember, if you have a great niche, you get more money. Okay, that's how AdSense works. But here I'm telling you beyond. So another thing about AdSense is that sleep watching is actually OP. What is sleep watching? Is when you put a video for the person to sleep. So it's a boring video, a sleepless historian, for example, it's to sleep. It's sleeping in Gotham. Everything is about sleeping. And why is that? Because you have a video so long, the person needs to watch it completely, so you get more money based on AdSense. But why is that? Because the YouTube does not know if you are sleeping or not. And if the person is sleeping, you get paid more. Yes. Because the person is going to watch the whole video, watch every single ad, making you receive more AdSense. This is where you understand that it's actually OP. Okay? That's really important to understand. And last but not least important, we have the selling extras. What is selling extras? You might be wondering. So you can get paid for some kind of company to put ads on your videos. So you need to talk about the company or put something on the comments. You can share music. There's a lot of people that pay for you to put music on the comments, to put music somewhere in your channel. so you can be selling extras, but you can also sell your things. You can create products. For example, ebooks. You can create ebooks or create affiliate links, everything like that, and put in a comment, put in a section down below, put in your description, anything. So you can create products and get paid for it. That way you start receiving more money on the same views you already have. So you're already making views. Why not sell a product? You will not lose anything and maybe even receive more money. My advice: put an ebook or affiliate links, okay, and see how that works. Do not say anything in the video. If it not sells, you might need to put some visual cues in the video, but it's not really that good because you break the automation. So that's why I recommend just putting in the description and maybe configuring the prompt that I'll show you guys to say something specific, okay? To say something about buying your thing to help continue with the content, okay? So you can always have a product. Alright, now that you understand about YouTube, you understand that you need a thumbnail, a title. That's really important. It's really different from short format. You need to understand that you need a new niche. You understand how popular worlds might help you, how using popular fantasies might help you. By understanding all of that, now we can go one step forward, and the next step is creating the goddamn video. And here we are going to tell you about how to build bedtime stories on autopilot. We already have a video on that, but I'll put here the full tutorial on this same video so you don't need to leave. But before seeing how to create this long format automation for free, okay, for free, you can create here, I'll tell you guys how to configure this. One last thing before creating. But why do you need to configure this? Because this is going to create the video. This is going to create your video. But you want your video to talk about the content you need. So one really important step is coming to your workflow, okay? And here, as you can see, we have some AI agents. And you need to configure here. So you need to read a little bit, professional script writer, and here you need to change based on what you really want to achieve. In my opinion, you need to configure this second script writer more. So here you need to configure everything, okay? So you're going to configure how to write, how to build a narrative and everything. This kind of stuff you need to change based on your channel, based on what you need. Here is how the video is going to turn out, okay? So all you need to do, send all of this prompt to ChatGPT, Gemini, your favorite LLM, ask him to help you configure to create your content. So you need to copy this, and once you copy it, you need to send to ChatGPT and configure it, okay? And another thing that's really important, as you can see, you need to create this spreadsheet, and you can put the idea here and it will create a video for you. And here, as you can see, it already created a lot of videos based on these ideas, and it has this status here on complete, okay? So remember, you put here the idea and the videos get done. So it's really simple. So let's see how to create this automation. Before we download the dependencies, let me show you this workflow. So this is the workflow we are going to recreate in this video. But if you don't want to go to the trouble of copying us, remember, you can always copy us because it's completely uncensored. You can always screenshot and make everything work. Every code, every prompt is available for free in the video. But if you don't want to watch the video and get everything working, you can simply download the workflow from our skill community. It's 15 bucks and it's a way to support us. In that way, we can always create more of these amazing workflows. It's not simple, it's really difficult, really hard to create these things and make it work. So support us and have an easier life. All that said, let's download the dependencies. Okay, so search for Docker Desktop. You're in the first link here, the containerization tool for developers. Download Docker Desktop and choose your system. If you are using a ARM64, you are aware of it. If not, if you don't know, you're probably using the AMD64, okay? And proceed with the installation. So before everything, go into your Docker Hub and search for na10. And download this na10io / na10, okay? You can just come here, press this run button, okay? Your container page should be empty. So to set it up, go in a folder and create a new folder with the name na10 ffmpeg. You will need the credentials folder with S in the end, not without the S, okay? Next, create na10-data, and next create a shared folder, okay? Like this, shared. Really important to have this shared folder, okay? It's going to be used to save things from the na10, from the container, into your computer. So now create a docker-compose.yml, okay? And here you add it with the notepad and paste this that is appearing on the screen. It's really important to have this just as we are showing here to work properly, okay? Before closing, always remember to Ctrl S to save. Now create a Docker file and paste this text here. Remember, always save before closing. And rename it and remove the .txt from the end, okay? Now you need to open cmd, but here's a trick. And now you can use this docker compose build, okay? And it should work. Once it is done, you docker compose up. You can always pause and get those commands. Alright, now it should appear here your na10 ffmpeg. If you press this little arrow, it should appear your ports, okay? If you click it, it will open your na10. And now, what is the difference in this na10 installation? This na10 installation has ffmpeg in a shared folder, okay? As you saw, it created a credentials with S folder because I named it incorrectly before. So now it should work with ffmpeg inside the container, which is amazing. Now let's create the credentials for Google. Okay, go into Google Cloud and search for I am admin. Go to service accounts, and as you can see, we don't have anything here, so create new, choose a name, create. Now it's really important, select owner here, so you can use everything that Google can offer, okay? Continue. It will pop up this error, but you just close it and done. It should work. I don't know what that error is, it just works. So go in the three dots, manage keys, and now we need to add key and create a new key. So create a JSON key and it should download in your computer. Okay, as you can see, it downloaded here this strange name in my computer. Now you bring it to the credentials folder and rename it to service-account. Okay, and done. Okay, so last step to have your Google credentials working, open cmd again and type this command. Get your container ID right here and sh in the end. Now it should accept commands. So paste this gout activate to read your service account that you just moved into your credentials folder. Now you need your project ID, so paste this command and go back to your Google Cloud, click on your projects, and here you can see your project ID. So copy it and paste here. Now Y to agree, and there you go, you're configured. If it worked, if you paste this last command here, it should appear your access token. That's it. Okay, so you will need to enable this cloud text to speech API, enable, and it will ask to enable billing. Okay, but you can just get this 300 in free credit. Okay, and with this 300 bucks you can do it like forever. Okay, so there we go. Okay guys, so let's create the workflow. First step, we need a trigger. I'll put a trigger manually, but you can configure whatever trigger you want. Okay, next step, we need the Google Sheets. Here you're going to get rows in Sheets, and just to have an example, you can copy our sheet here, and as you can see, we have a theme, status, introductions, and style reference. Okay, so this status we are going to use. It's really important to have this, and we are going to use right now. If you go here, add filter, we are going to use the status and pending value. Okay, really important, return only first matching row. Okay, next step, AI agent. Okay, and here it's really important to define below, of course, because we want to have our prompt. And before your prompt, select here to require output format. Okay, let's paste the prompt here, and you can always copy our prompt, but if you are a little bit lazy and want to help us, you can use our school in the link in the description. It's 15 bucks and it's really cheap, and you don't have to go through the trouble of copying it. Okay, next step, we are going to put Gemini model here. You can choose whatever you want. I'll put Flash because it's faster. Let's structure output parser, and here we are going to structure our chapters like that. Okay, because this prompt is going to generate chapters. Okay, and here we are going to split out, and just to be faster, just write it here, output dot chapter, chapters. Okay, with the S in the end, like that. Let's create the images. We're going to create AI agent here, a define below again, and we have this prompt here to generate our images. Okay, here we have get rows and output chapters from before, and that's it. Okay, let's choose a chat model. We're going to use Gemini again. Can be the fast one, doesn't matter. And the memory, we get a simple memory, put it 39, and here you're going to define below and pass prompts. Okay, next step is creating the code, and this code is going to get everything in order to work. Okay, really important in the mode here, run once for each item. Okay, and the JavaScript here like that. All right, next step, we are going to add a loop here. So let's add a loop like this, and this loop is batch size, and here you put it to false, like that. All right, you can delete this and delete this. Next step, inside the loop, we are needing to wait. Okay, here you're going to wait 7 seconds because we're going to make requests to generate images, and this image generator we are going to use is completely free. Okay, like this. This encoded prompt is from our code we just configured. Okay, we want to send query parameters using JSON. You paste this, it's going to the size of the image, the model is going to use, enhance and no logo. Okay, so you can use different models here. We are using GPT image. You can also use Flux and context and image. Okay, and this website Pollinations is a free website, and this is amazing, incredible. Okay, you can always test what you want in the website, and it's really simple to use. Okay, site is in the description. So here in options, we want a response. Okay, with this and this in file, and choose the name to image. Okay, really important to do this. All right, next step, we are going to extract from file to basics4. We put image and image again, and it should work like that. So here we loop to create every single image we want to use, okay? So just because we are testing, we can do this. I'm going to execute once. What is this going to happen? It's going to make this AI agent, instead of creating 40 different prompts, it's going to create only one. And it's only good for troubleshooting, for debugging, and creating the workflow. Once we are done with the workflow, you need to change that to off, okay? But we are going to use this to try the workflow, okay? So code. This code is going to return item, as we can see item here. So we need to change it for each item. Next step, we need to convert this file, okay? So we're going to convert file, and basics4, we're going to choose image and image again. All right, and options, we're going to use a JSON index like that. Okay, this index is the output from our code. Okay, next step, let me put this down here. Okay, and now we should be generating the files here. Everything should work correctly, and it should be generating the image. So after converting to file, we want to save it on our computer. To do that, we're going to write files from disk, okay, like this. We are going to write it down, a really important thing. Home node shared bedtime stories image and the name of the file. How do I know if it is correct? As you can see, I tested here if it was working. It is. So remember this shared folder I told you to create? Inside this folder, create the bedtime stories, okay, bedtime stories, create image folder, and this is the folder we're going to use. So if we did it correct, remember to put like this, take underscore item index.jpg, okay, JPEG, and here in the binary field use image. All right, like that. So let's execute everything. Remember, we are only executing once this part. We're going to change it later. So it should generate only one image, but if it wasn't executing only once, it would generate 40 images, okay? Okay, and as we can see, the prompt worked, and it should have an image in this folder. Let's see, we have a image, and if it wasn't executing once, we would have 40 images. Of course, if you're generating 40 images, it's going to take a little bit longer, but it generates for free, okay? Amazing work. So let's have it this here, and let's create the audio. So we have already these chapters. We want to create the full script. Let's take this split out and make a section down here, okay? It's more simple to just do this, define below, and here we are going to use a crazy prompt that gets every chapter and generates a little bit of the text, a little bit of the script, okay? You can always change these rules, but these rules here, they are already working to make a full length of about 1.5 to 2 hours script, okay? It's really, really good. And of course, we need to add here Gemini, and we also need to have here memory, and we are going to define below. Here we have script writers, okay, like that. How are we going to use? So let's create another node, and now we are going to create the code. Why are we creating this code? Because we have a limitation on our free text-to-speech tool. Using Google text-to-speech, we have a limitation of characters, okay? So a limitation of words. So this code is basically going to make it work. As we can see here, it's taking the text and making it cut it, trimmed, okay? So here we can rename it to text trimming, like that. Next step, we want to make adjustments with code again, okay? We need it again to make it work properly. But now, remember to change this one to each item, okay? Here, it's going to take the text and make it work properly. And here we can change the name for text adjustments, like that. Okay, so with this code, it should work properly, okay? And as you can see, I made a quick test here and it already worked. It's already working. So next step is taking this text adjustment and creating a loop again. And this loop is going to change this text into voices, into audio, which is amazing work. Okay, so how do we do that? We are going to use the loop, of course. So this loop is going to execute command like that. So this execute command step is really important because without this step, the Google will not generate your audio. So remember, if you did the installation just like I showed in the Docker Compose in the beginning of the video, this command should work properly. Okay, we are going to use, let me create a HTTP request. Okay, so this HTTP request part is really important to generate the audio, of course. So first thing, change here to post, all right? Next step, you need to get this URL, this link, and you are going to send headers, okay? Using fields below to be sure it will not break, okay? It will work. Okay, so what is this going to do? This is going to use the key generated by the execute command before, okay? Next step, we have content type, application JSON, and here in the last one, you are going to use your project ID, okay? Next step, send body, raw, JSON raw, and here we are going to open here and paste this, okay? This part is going to set the voice, so name of the voice, if it's male or female, the speaking rate, the language, and all of that you can configure here, okay? And that's it. If you did it correct, it should be post and these fields here, all right?
Hey, it's me again. So, quick lessons about the Google TTS. Go to this link on the screen. It's also in the description, okay? So, you can see a lot of voices here. There are loads of different languages and accents. You can see, you can use like British English or US English, okay? Portuguese, Spanish. Anyway, pick one you liked, okay? And once you did it, you can copy the voice name and paste it into our HTTP request we have created for Google TTS, okay? Just like I'm doing right now.
What are we going to do next? We are going to, we are going to loop, and now we are going to convert to file base64. We're going to change it to audio content, audio, and down here we need a file name, and we are giving it this file name here. This is an expression, okay, used by NA10, created by them, so you can't drag and drop here, but trust me, it's going to work, okay? And now we need to save it. So write or save, whatever, and write it file to disk. And we're going to change it to audio here. And we need a path. So what is this path? Inside your shared folder, we have the bedtime stories, and you need to create here a new folder called audio, okay? This folder here, right beside image, not inside, okay? As you can see here, there are different folders. And here you paste this home node, shared, bedtime stories, audio. So this initial part changes for everybody. But if you followed our Docker Compose, it will work, because here, as you can see in our Docker Compose we did in the beginning of the video, we have home node shared, okay? This is where this is coming from, all right? So it should work properly. Next step, we want to merge everything. Merge. Okay, just leave it like that. And boom, boom, we are merging the files. And next step, we are going to create execute command. Okay, and before configuring here, we're going to execute other command, execute command again. And I am going to explain what's going to happen here. But before pasting a lot of text here and prompts, we're going to create a Google Sheets again in the end. And inside this Google Sheets, we are going to update row in sheet by I'll put your link here. Okay. And here we are going to use row number, JSON row number, like that. And status. Actually, check your sheet, and here you can see it's done. Yeah, not to publish, but it's going to work. There we go. So everything else, remove everything else, only change the status. Okay, done, like that, not do. Okay, so let's do the command part, which is the difficult part. In order to execute these commands, we need to create some folders. So go back in the bedtime stories folders, and as we can see, we have image and audio folder. We're going to need some more folders. Let's create the final underscore video. Okay, let's create also the overlay folder and the overlay video folder, and also the last one, SFX folder. With every folder created, we can finally start creating our video. In order to work these commands, I need to explain something real quick before. We have this sound effect here. This sound effect is a campfire sound effect available in our school community, but you can also find somewhere else in the internet, okay? Any .mp3 will work. And important, this overlay part is also available in our school community, okay? If you want it, it will be available there. But if you want something else that is not campfire flames going up, it's actually small little particles of fire, you can always change for whatever you want as overlay. But remember, it needs to be .mov, and this video file needs to be with transparency mode activated. So what is going to happen? It's going to be like a PNG moving. So the PNG, just like my hand, you can see through it. Look, you can see through my hand. So the .mov is basically that, okay? Really important to make it work. So if you want something else, you need to find it on the internet or create your own, okay? And the names, they need to be like this, sfx_0 and overlay.mov, okay? It's really important because the ffmpeg command works with names, and for that we need to create in audio a txt file. It needed to have this name here, audios.txt, and inside this notepad you need to paste this. What is this? This is going to tell ffmpeg about every single audio file, okay? You can always pause the video and copy here, or use your LLM to copy this text for you, okay? And it should work. We have from audio 0 to 39, and There we go. Save it. And now we have this. If we open, you can see we have this saved here. Okay. And now let's create the commands. Okay. First command is like this: ffmpeg, frame rate, and a lot of things here. But all you need to do is that this first command is going to take all the pictures together and the overlay video that I told you with the fire particles and blend in into a compilation. Okay. Why is this happening without the audio? Because it's faster. We want this to be efficient. Okay. So this increases efficiency. And the next step is to make the audio and the video loop until the end of the audio. Okay. So this is what's happening here, and it should work properly and generate your video without any errors. Okay. Oh, just remember, you guys, this ffmpeg part here might take a while. What I mean by that: if your computer has a Ryzen 5 3600, it should take a third of the full length of the file. What am I trying to tell you? I'm trying to tell you that if your file has 3 hours long, which is the length of this script writer, it's going to create a script for 2 or 3 hours long videos. It might take a third of the time of that time to create the video. So it will keep loading here for a long time, for long periods. So for example, you have a 3-hour long video, it will take a whole hour, a long hour, to create the video. Okay, so that explained, don't be afraid if it's stuck here. It will work. If you did everything correct, it will work, but it takes a while. It's not instantaneous. Okay, it's running on your machine, on your computer, and if you have a really good high-end computer, it will be faster. Okay, and once the video is rendered, it will be in the final video folder. We have the full workflow working and explained here for y'all. Okay, but let's change this here because it's execute once. We need to change this, and we need to change this here too because it was execute once. And if you pinned anything to create the workflow, unpin now, so things will get working. Okay, now that you have your workflow, I'll tell you how to use it. So first steps, open your Google Sheets. So it's really important to choose your theme here. So the theme is what's going to set your video, your story. So choose what kind of story, what kind of video you want to make here. Okay, so based on that, your AI agents will use it to write your script. Always remember to change status to pending if your video is not done. Otherwise, it will not create your video. Okay, so instructions, you choose which way the video must go. So the AI agents will use this information in your text. It's to give a more clear direction on how to create the story. It's completely optional, okay? So you don't need to use it. And this style part is where you choose your prompt for the images. So basically the background footage. But how can I be sure that I'm creating a good prompt? So you can come to this website called Pollinations, and here you can test with the specific model you choose in your request. Okay, and as you can see, you can choose between Flux Context and GPT Image, which is this turbo option. Here you can create your prompt, but you can also ask for help in your ChatGPT, Claude, or even Gemini, I don't know. Ask for help for a image prompt. That way you can get a very good prompt, and it will use this style reference prompt to create different images based on that prompt. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so let's understand ffmpeg. ffmpeg is to create videos. It happens only on command lines, and it's fully configured by this first and second command line. Okay, so here we set the frame rate, and this frame rate is actually how much time the images are going to stay in the video. So it's staying like for 15 seconds. We are importing here the images, every single one of them. Then we are importing the overlay. We are configuring it here to make it work in the aspect ratio of 1920 to 1080p. And as you can see, you can also configure the zoom here. Remember, this kind of stuff you can always check for the documentation or ask for your ChatGPT or Gemini, I don't know, Cloud, to help you configure this and change every single option. Okay, and here, as we can see, we have the format of the RGBA to make the colors correct. And after configuring everything here, we have the output, which is in this folder here. Okay, so the second execute command that we have here is actually a little bit different because it's talking about audio. So this ffmpeg is a string loop getting the video with the images that we just saw. Okay, and it's going to import audio now. So we have this audio text to understand how the audios should be in order and everything. And here we have the sound effect. Okay, and as you can see, we keep the same aspect ratio here to do not change the video in a bad way. Okay, and we have this equalizer option to configure the audio and everything, so in that way we can get the audio to sound like a normal audio. Okay, and here we have the volume of the audio, and as you can see, it's the first volume and the second one is SFX, so you can change here the volume of the audios. All right, so we have this dropout transition on audio too, and with all that done, it will create a loop of the first video until the last second of audio. So basically it's going to take this first compilation that we did that is really heavy and takes a lot of time, and it's going to put it on repeat with the audio, so in that way we can make things more efficient. All right, and here we have the output again. Okay, hope you understood. Feel free to modify and use as you want our workflow.